Welcome to Module 4, Workflow Process. The purpose of this video is to introduce you to the module, the learning objectives, and what you'll be covering in the lesson. The workflow process is the entire process from the time that you meet the client until you give the client their final files or upload their final files so that they have a website. And it talks about all the different products and the processes that you go through to create a web design. Designers like myself are not good at following details. We need to have documents, we need to have certain things to keep us on track so that we do it correctly. And that's where this workflow process really comes in handy. The learning objectives here: to explain the workflow of designing a website from the design brief to hosting the website. Hosting means to upload it and to actually put it onto a server so that the people can see it. So be able to explain and be able to talk about and understand all the entire workflow. So that would also include knowing what those key documents are, these key products that we're going to be talking about here in this lesson here. The second one is to extract key information from a design brief needed to create your design. The design brief is a very important document. So without going into that a little bit more, let's go into the 3 lessons that we have, and then we'll go from there. Lesson number 1, this looks like a long document, and it sort of is. It goes into a lot of information here, but it's only basically 1 page. But what's good about this one here is it talks about the different things that you need. It talks about the design brief, the thumbnail sketch, the wireframing, the digital mock-ups, the usability testing. These are all very important steps that you need to follow to do web design. And a lot of times you'll see a course, they'll talk about HTML, and they'll teach you how to design, or they'll teach you the HTML, but they don't teach you the design aspect of it. And that's why it's so important with this course we cover the HTML and the CSS, because there are so many different facets of design that we need to work on as well. In lesson number 2, we go to a key document here, which is the design brief. And the design brief is so important. There's been so many times I've almost been burnt if I didn't have a design brief to sort of help me. Within this design brief, you'll know about the target audience. The target audience is who is this design meant to go to. That's really important to understand that. It's also important to know what are the deliverables. Deliverables are what do you give the client, and the deadlines are when you give it to the client. You want to make sure that you're producing what the client wants or expects. And so that you don't give a design or you give something to the client knowing full well, okay, and I'm not saying that you could be wrong, you could know exactly what you're supposed to give the client, you give the client exactly what he wants, but then he or she says, well, this isn't what I wanted something more, I wanted something different. And they can sometimes do that to you. They can ask for more things than what the budget really called for. So you have to be very careful and very tactfully and very calmly, very professionally sort of say, okay, let's look at the design brief and what I was supposed to give you. And you also see the deadlines. When are you supposed to have it? You know, a client may say, can I have this a week early? And it's like, no, you gave me a specific time to do it. I need that time. If they need it earlier, you can sort of talk as far as, you know, is that possible? Is that something you could do? Do you need to charge more? Push over other clients? Whatever you need to do. So that's within that lesson there. Then the third lesson is, what are the products of the workflow, which are going to be basically talking about the thumbnail sketches and the digital sketches on how we make these different designs. We'll talk about the wireframe and why that's so important. Then we'll just sort of go back over again with the workflow process, and then we'll have the quiz. And that'll take us through Module 4. So we'll go back to here. And you see that we have Module 4. We'll go through the 3 lessons. There'll be a self-assessment quiz at the end of the module down here. And then we go on to Module 5. Okay? Thank you.